Hi kids, today we're going to learn how to write chemical equations. There are two kinds of chemical equations. It can be an equation that shows the actual chemical symbols, or it can also be known as a word equation. For now, I will be only teaching you word equations. Word equations is when we write down the reaction that happens during the chemical reaction, but without using the symbols. For example, if it is an equation on combustion. For example, carbon burns with oxygen. This produces carbon dioxide. Now, what I just wrote is called a word equation. A word equation writes down the names of the chemicals. Carbon and oxygen are known as the reactant. Carbon dioxide is known as the product. The arrow symbolizes the reaction. Adding plus sign means that it reacts together. The reactant becomes the product. Any reaction that occurs with combustion requires oxygen. Without oxygen, it is not a combustion reaction. Let me give you another example. Magnesium burns in oxygen to produce magnesium oxide. If I were to write the word equation, I will write magnesium plus oxygen becomes magnesium oxide. So in this reaction, when I'm writing my equation, magnesium and oxygen are my reactants. Magnesium oxide is my product. This can be said for any reaction that is using combustion. Combustion uses oxygen to produce a product. What are the other reactions that we must learn? Neutralization. Neutralization is the reaction between an acid and an alkali. This produces a salt and water. This, however, is not a word equation because I'm not telling you what the chemical is. So there are many different kinds of acid. So for example, if I were to use hydrochloric acid and alkali, there are also many different kinds of alkali. I use the alkali sodium hydroxide. This is then the reactant because I'm writing the name of the chemical. You cannot just write acid and alkali because this is a general name. The salt that is produced is called sodium chloride. And water is just written as water. Therefore, this is known as our word equation for the neutralization between hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide. If I were to use a different acid, I would just have to change the name of the acid. So for example, if I was using nitric acid together with sodium hydroxide, this will also be a neutralization reaction. And the equation would be acid and alkali. Now my salt will be called sodium nitrate. And water. So, as usual, the first two are my reactants and the last two are my products. So this is an introduction on how we write word equation. Next week, I will be teaching you more word equations and different chemical reactions. See you.